A once beloved star dying with $2 to her name? Her autopsy has the final 2 cents. Dorothy Dandridge died tragically at 42. A cause of death was determined, and then suddenly everything was called into question. Ebony magazine writes that the first autopsy found that she had died from something called a rare embolism. However, further toxicology testing concluded that she had actually overdosed on an antidepressant, as the New York Times reported. This caused speculation that Dandridge had committed suicide. The truth, whether suicide or an accident, remains unknown. For a find a grave, Dandridge was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. In spite of her brief life, Dorothy Dandridge left her mark on history. After all, she was the first black woman to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. However, Dorothy's accomplishments have largely been forgotten due to her tumultuous personal life and tragic death. Born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1922, her mother Ruby was set on making her a star. Dorothy, her mother, and sister Vivian traveled throughout the South to perform. Eventually, the sisters and their friend Etta Jones formed a musical group called the Dandridge Sisters. Per the Washington Post, the Dandridge Sisters was a success. They were given small movie roles and performed at the famed Cotton Club in New York, where Dorothy met tap dancer Harold Nicholas, the man who became her first husband and the father of her only child. Even with her ever-growing career, Dorothy faced racism, discrimination, and segregation as an African American in the 1930s. This did little to deter her from her dreams. But first, she wanted to make things official with Nicholas. In September 1942, Dorothy married the now iconic tap dancer.
Now, I had my eyes on Dorothy. Yes. And so did my brother.
A year later, she gave birth to their child, Harold Suzanne Nicholas. All That's Interesting reports that Harold suffered brain damage at birth. Moreover, Dorothy's union with Harold was strained from the start, as he was reportedly unfaithful and cared little for Harold. The pair divorced in 1952, and Dorothy quickly got back to work. In 1954, Dorothy was cast in Carmen Jones, the film that changed the trajectory of her life and career. Ultimately, Carmen Jones earned Dorothy an Academy Award nomination. Despite losing to Grace Kelly, the nomination was monumental nonetheless. She was put on the cover of Life magazine, making her the first black woman to achieve this honor. According to Mental Floss, Dorothy was making thousands of dollars and arguably became one of the most revered black women in the world. However, her career quickly floundered after the hype of Carmen Jones ceased. Dorothy, as biography explains, wanted leading roles that challenged her. Instead, her skin color attracted demeaning stereotypical parts that she had no interest in. Dorothy subsequently made a series of flops. In fact, many believe that her role in the 1959 classic Porgy and Bess is the only film besides Carmen Jones that truly shows her talents. In addition to her failing film career, Dandridge's personal life was also in shambles. According to Vanity Fair, she had an affair with Otto Preminger, who also directed Porgy and Bess. Preminger was reportedly abusive and controlling. The relationship ended by the time the pair began to work on Porgy and Bess. Dorothy's career seemed to be over by the 1960s. She also had another failed marriage to Jack Dennison. According to Mental Floss, Dennison was abusive and mishandled her finances. When the marriage ended in 1962, she was deeply in debt. Additionally, Dorothy was guilt-ridden for abandoning her daughter years earlier. As All That's Interesting explains, she felt like she was unable to properly care for her daughter early on. Instead, Dorothy paid for caretakers. However, her debts meant that she could no longer afford to pay for her daughter's care. Dorothy was forced to institutionalize her daughter. Distraught, biography reports Dorothy turned to drugs and alcohol to cope. Although she was hoping to make a comeback, that never occurred. According to a United Press International report published by the Madura Tribune, Dorothy Dandridge died on September 18, 1965. The 42-year-old was found naked in her Hollywood apartment by her manager. At the time, she reportedly only had $2 in her bank account. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK 8255.